Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 3 of season 4 of our F125 Cadillac career mode. Yes, we return this weekend here to the Jeddah Corniche and the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live at the end of last week from Bahrain, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. A brilliant battle between myself and Lando Norris. Ferrari versus Cadillac, I think, is going to be a fantastic squabble over the course of the campaign. Maybe the elbows will get out, maybe things will get a little bit catty between the two teams as well. I'll have to wait and see whether, Fred Vasseur and I, whether we're going to plan a boxing match towards the end of the year. Taking a look though at our World Championship standings, it is still Lando Norris at the top of the table, ahead of now Isaac Hadjar, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Oscar Piastri, all inside your top 5. Ferrari having 19-point buffer at the top of the table, still ahead of Cadillac. At very worst this season, I hope we finish P2, but it will be slightly dependent on whether Oscar Piastri can pull his finger out as well. Yeah, both Ferraris, both with double podiums to kickstart the campaign, but I'm hoping this weekend we can try and get another win on the board. We've got $63 million of cash reserves at the moment, but there's not really much I can do now inside the game. We're still just trying to spam out the last few facility upgrades that I can possibly do. As you can see, we've got 3 going on the engineering side, 3 going on the personnel side, and I've completed every single one that is available inside this game as well. I don't believe there are any unavailable improvements. I don't know why my workforce isn't completely maxed out, but there we are. Of course, if you're new and you do want to enjoy, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed. We are getting very, very close to 150,000 subs on the channel as well at the moment. Also, if you want early access to all these videos, you can click the join button as well for just £1 a month. And last but not least, we're trying to hit 10k followers over on my Twitch before the end of the year, so there'll be a link to that down in the description below as well. Yeah, it'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. We're going to be going live 5 times this week over there, so plenty of live streaming content for you all. But yeah, without further ado though, let's return here to Jeddah.
Welcome to the Jeddah Corniche, one of the fastest circuits on the calendar. But let's see who'll be fastest of them all. We're about to set the grid for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yes, it's qualifying.
Well, I think we're going to need to get the average speed check out once again then, ready for today's qualifying session, because we might be able to go even quicker than what we did out in Australia then. Coming out the final corner though, of course, Q1 and Q2 aren't exactly where I expect to get the big times, so we just got to make sure that we make it into Q3 as always. Is immediately Charles Leclerc down to a 124.0. We broke into the 23s in Bahrain. 122s, do we think that could be possible here? Only time will tell. Oh, purple in Sector 1, purple in Sector 2 then on this first run is 212 miles an hour. Not a bad top speed to hit down in towards the final couple of corners. Get the power down though, use the remaining of the battery on the run back towards the line. Are we going to dip into the 23s? No, we don't. We only go second, but look at that top 5. Antonelli, Behrman and Hulkenberg. That would be quite a shock. Well, there we go then, having a look at our times from Q1. Charles Leclerc fastest there, just ahead of myself. But Andrea, Kimi, Antonelli, Yuki Tsunoda, Franco Colapinto, all getting up there as well. Brilliant lap by Hulkenberg in that Audi car to get himself up inside the top 10. Just behind Ollie Behrman, but just ahead of Jack Crawford. So I think we are going to see some surprises out in Q1. Oscar Piastri barely makes it through. Nicholas Solov makes it through alongside Lance Stroll. Zach O'Sullivan out, that's not a big shock. George Russell out, though, is a big shock, alongside Esteban Ocon. Tim Tramnitz as well, bit disappointed, I'm sure, alongside Pepe Marti and Jack Doohan there. So, what's that? 6 cars from 6 different teams out in Q1, but a Mercedes and a Red Bull not making it through. They will be very disappointed. Well, I do always debate as to whether to take Q1 and Q2 out of the footage, but we just seem to get so many surprises inside this series, I just don't think I can. It's kind of a bit like IRL Formula 1 a couple of times recently, where everybody has been so tightly bunched up there as immediately Carlos Sainz becomes the first driver this weekend into the 123s. The team believe I've got splits for a 23.5 so far. We'll wait and see as to how close I can get to that. So a little bit wide through the start of the S's, but I mean, apart from that, these these corners are basically entirely flat out. Bit of a downshift there as I got a bit squirrely through the exit. But again, you can keep your foot pretty much welded to the floor. As purple through Sector 1 we still go. We've got a lot of downforce on this car. Does seem like it works a bit more through the corners and down the straights, you know, against those Ferraris, against some of the other cars on this grid. But we're doing pretty well. Oh, just try and get it thrown out over that curbing. So far, so good. Oh, purple in Sector 1, purple in Sector 2, but it seems to be Sector 3 where we lose a lot of time against our rivals. Will we join Carlos Sainz in the 83-second club here? Let's find out. Long run back towards the line. Yes, we will. To the top of the board we go. 123.7. And there we go then by the end of Q2. A 123.7 is the fastest time on the board. Again, I've had to get out my average speed calculator. That lap was 166.38 miles an hour. I'm hoping we can get to 167 when we get into Q3, but Sainz makes it through. It looks like Ferrari a little bit off the pace here today, because it seems to be Cadillac versus McLaren. Both Ferraris do make it through alongside Andrea, Kimi, Antonelli, Pierre Gasly. Colapinto through once again. Nicola Solov for the second time this year as well. That Haas car seems to be very, very good around these straight line circuits. Hulkenberg, after a great time in Q1, cannot make Q3. Well, here we go then, ready for our last laps of anger here from Jeddah. Like I said, I reckon a 123.5 is doable. I want to try and reach 167 miles an hour for an average lap speed around this circuit. We should go way above 170 when we get to Monza, shouldn't we? I reckon we could be looking like 172, 173. I'm sure by saying all this, though it will then rain for the Italian GP qualifying session. But again, nice and tidy through those first few corners. I need to be a bit more effective with my ERS usage around this lap. Don't hit the inside wall. Keep it tidy on the exit of the corner as well. As we thread the car through these S's, don't again nudge the wall. You can see how much more it opens up the corner on the exit there. Nicely used a bit of battery. And that was completely flat out from turn 5 all the way through to about turn 11, isn't it? This is the banked turn 12, as once again, no surprises, purple through Sector 1. But like I said, trying to use just a bit more battery around the lap, give us some speed off of the corners. As I mean, you could probably use 6th gear through there. Out onto the back straight that isn't very straight, though. Open up that DRS again, just try and take the line of least resistance, the shortest run in towards Sector 3 there. It's down to 7th gear. That's the line I've needed through that corner. That's definitely been one where I've been costing myself a little bit of speed so far this session. Make sure I keep just a little bit of battery, though, ready for the final corner. This has felt like a pretty complete lap up to this point. Braking at the 100-meter board there. Little bit of understeer through the middle part of the apex. We'll get the power down on the run back towards the line. Shortest run, 123.0. Surely that is good enough for pole. But surely I've got to try and chase a 1 minute 22.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, I'm stupid. I'm so stupid. I've gone back out on the old set of tyres. Luckily, I think it's good enough for pole position anyway there, but I think the 1 minute 22s will have to wait another year. What a slightly anticlimactic end to Q3 then for us, but what a lap it was still. 123.002. That's got to be, what, close to 167 miles an hour average speed? Oscar Piastri, though, will join us on the front row. So for the first time this year, CADILLAC have got a front row lockout. Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, though, very quick by the end of Q3. Just ahead of the 2 McLaren cars. Gasly, Antonelli, Solov, and Franco Colapinto will round out your top 10. But CADILLAC, we've got a huge chance this weekend. Let's see what we can do as we head into the race.
Welcome to one of the fastest races in the entire calendar, and while it's one of the newer races on the F1 World Tour, it's already staked its reputation as a fan favourite. It's Jeddah, and it's the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah Street Circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Isaac Hadjar lines up on pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Leclerc, Yuki Tsunoda and Sainz, Gasly, Antonelli, Soloff and Franco Colapinto, Crawford, Behrman, Lance Stroll and Aaron, Bortoletto, Hulkenberg, Zach O'Sullivan and George Russell, Ocon, Tramnitz, Pepe Marti and Jack Doohan rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Well, we are the only drivers so far this year to start on the front row in every single Grand Prix, so hoping obviously we can keep that going for as long as possible. 25 laps though here from the Jeddah Corniche is a tough circuit. It is just, I think honestly the best way I could describe it, I think, is an assault on the mind. Just how focused you have to be to make it work around here. Let's see what we can do though. We've got Oscar Piastri alongside me. We've got to try and work together. It is 5 red lights. There's the lights out, and away we go then, getting off to a fairly clean, tidy start as everybody around us on the mediums. Saw Lando Norris trying to have a look around the outside. Oh, he's turned in on me in towards someone there. Both Ferraris trying to get wheel to wheel with us through that first corner as Piastri would immediately say thank you very much.
You might start to notice it soon.
And immediately then picking up a little bit of damage on the car as well. I mean, from my perspective there, Lando Norris just started to turn in on me when we were the car on the inside. Whether he knew that Oscar Piastri was there as well or not, I've got no real idea. But, you know, there's a car on the inside. He can't really just turn in as and when he chooses. We're definitely going to try and make sure we gave him some space on the circuit. But down at turn 1, you've got to be very, very careful. So I've got no idea there whether the Ferrari picked up some damage. I would expect he has. And all of that's worked out rather well for both Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc then, as Lando Norris, I think, yeah, is definitely a little bit wounded as he makes his way down the back straight. Looks like he has still got good speed in that car, as Oscar Piastri immediately trying to break free up at the front of the order as well then. Can we just help our teammate today? I've never had a teammate inside this series even get a podium yet. So a race win here would be absolutely fantastic, as here comes Charles Leclerc diving to the inside down in that final corner. We'll let him by, but we'll try and get a switch back on him for that final turn there, as Charles getting fantastic traction. But Oscar Piastri then is absolutely bolted up at the front of the order. That is exactly what we want to see for the team. So we will keep Leclerc pinned defensive down in towards... Oh, that inside wall as he parks the bus into turn 1. I said the elbows might get out between Cadillac and Ferrari, and it looks like they are. Well, I think as long as we can stay in the range of Charles Leclerc here, this front wing damage shouldn't be too bad. It might well be that we go for a slightly early pit stop in this race to obviously try and make sure that we still make the one stop happen. Andrea Kimi Antonelli used that to great effect last weekend.
Slight damage, but nothing too serious at the moment. Just be careful.
Contact with both Ferraris then down at that first corner. Whether they're just going to try and gang up on me a little bit, only time will tell. But yeah, we've got to try and keep Leclerc in our line of sight. As can we try and get a run on him back towards turn 1? We are coming from a long way back. Yeah, not a chance we'll get to him there. But again, up over 220 miles an hour. And we're running a fair bit of downforce here. Yeah, I think always trying to stick with... Oh, Leclerc was going to be difficult here, as I was not expecting Lando Norris to try and keep the nose down the inside in towards that fast corner. Normally the AI will kind of consider having a look and then always back out. But apparently not that time around. If you're Lando Norris there as wheel to wheel with our World Championship leader down in towards that final corner. So again, a little bit more contact as we tried to give him a bit of a squeeze. I didn't feel anything through the steering wheel that time round, but again, Lando Norris trying to hold firm and keep his track space there as we will ouch our way back down the inside of turn 1. Come on, we've just got to stay focused here. These early laps proving very chaotic, but yeah, the gloves are off. Oh, again, Lando, I mean, this is just what happens, isn't it? Down in towards the final corner here, the AI, they've got so much speed, as not only Lando Norris there, but Carlos Sainz and Yuki Tsunoda all trying to make the way by there. So dropping immediately from 3rd place all the way down to 6th As Carlos Sainz, and he's going to try and apply more pressure to Lando Norris back into turn 1.
2 seconds.
Are we able to get past Yuki? No, we are not, and we are just sinking like a stone early on in this race. Can we get the power down off of that first chicane to get a run back to the inside of the McLaren, man? Yes, we will, but I completely locked the fronts. We need to pit there as I'm going to... No, Yuki! Oh, man, I tried to let him go around the outside, but he just completely turned across me like I wasn't even there, and now we've got huge damage that we need to try and limp back around to the pit lane. Sonoda's got damage as well.
Keep taking care of them.
I mean, this race almost immediately has turned into an absolute disaster as trying to get the car rotated through turn 12. Gasly, of course, had a spin last weekend now, might be able to try and move his way through. But yeah, we need to try and get back around to the pit lane then. I'm sure Sonoda will also be diving in, but we're going to need a safety car or a red flag or something now in this Grand Prix if we want to remain in the fight. I'm not going to try and hold any of these guys at the moment, as Gasly will make it through, so will Andrea, Kimi, Antonelli. Sonoda, yeah, holding everybody else up, but another disaster early on in the race, so early on this season.
Your lap times are falling off now. We want you to pit for repairs. Box,
Yeah, no
box,
doubt.
box.
We've got barely any wing mark. Of course we need to pit for repairs, but we need to hope that Oscar Piastri can fly the flag for Cadillac today, because at the moment, it's looking like we're not going to stand a chance. Into the pit lane we will go, though, at the end of that lap. It's going to be Nicolas Solov all the way up to P7. Good today. He scored his first ever Formula 1 points as well. Would be good for the Haas team there, as of course, yeah, Sonoda into the pits as well. No real surprise there, but like I said, unless we get a safety car, unless we get a red flag, something to try and bring us back into the fight, it is going to be a difficult climb back up through the order.
There seems to be a problem attaching the front wing. We need to try and put that behind us now and finish the race strong.
I mean, at least we
Okay,
still come
one
out ahead of
stop to
Yuki,
go.
but
One stop left in this strategy.
team as well. Oh, having issues not getting the front wing off, and we've got a penalty.
It will go against our finishing time at the end of the race. Get your head down and let's get it done.
We got a penalty there for understeering on pit lane exit. That seems a little bit harsh, but oh, this race just goes from bad to worse. Well, I think Sonoda in that McLaren then. We are going to have to try and work with him here as he is on the medium. So he's definitely planning on pitting again before the end of the afternoon. I would ideally like to stretch these tyres to the flag.
Try to keep focus.
I'm happy just to sit behind him for now. Let him drag us along. Just see where we can end up. Just studying Yuki over the course of this lap. I think the best course of action is for... Oh, come on, not that. That's not what I was going to say. I was hoping we could get a run on him back in towards turn 1. Carry the speed through that first sector. As there we go, new fastest lap of the day.
Fastest lap of the race so far.
So clearly Yuki doesn't see it that way. Wants to try and fight us. But yeah, I reckon we're better off leading most of the lap, letting him through down in towards the final corner, and then getting the DRS run back on him again. That seems to be where we're both a bit stronger around this circuit. But I mean, we're going 3 seconds a lap faster than Tramnitz in front. So there is a chance that we could still get some good points. Well, by the end then of lap 11, we have closed in on Tim Tramnitz in this race. It's 225 miles an hour in towards turn 1. But these guys now immediately just beginning to hold us up a little bit as we will try and get down the inside of the Audi driver. German, yeah, doing alright so far in this Grand Prix. Obviously a new circuit for him in Formula 1. We should definitely be able to score points though in this race. I mean, we're just that much quicker than a lot of these cars towards the back of the field. Even if I have to pit again this afternoon, we should be pretty good there as Pepe Marti. First weekend this year, Williams have really struggled. Down the inside we will go. And you can see even the likes of Ocon has been able to make no progress at this stage of the Grand Prix there as Paul Aaron. Are we going to be able to have a look? Oh, that almost accidentally down the inside of that next corner there, but it's that front right-hand tyre we've got to be really, really careful with in this GP. Obviously, if we keep nudging the walls, things like that, we will increase that wear so badly, and it will make a huge difference come the checkered flag. So just trying to keep it inside track limits there, getting a little wash of understeer. Can we have a look to the outside of Paul Aaron? I think we're going to be out of battery by the time we get down in towards the final corner. 221 miles an hour to the inside of the Estonian we will go, and hopefully we're going to see a load of these cars now in front of me diving into the pit lane. Jack Dooham is going to be one of them. Esteban Ocon opts to stay out there as here comes Paul Aaron back around my outside in towards turn 1. So we've actually come out ahead of Lando Norris in this race, so that's pretty good. Back inside your top 10. Admittedly not far ahead of Lando. We're going to have much worse tyres towards the flag. But it does, like I said, mean that we've still got a fighting chance up towards the front of the order. Well, next up then is going to be George Russell here as we make our way out onto the back straight. But I think I'm probably better off holding off behind him until we get down in towards the final corner. Oscar Piastri into the pit lane. I don't think we'll have got the jump on our teammate here, but if we could, and if we could hang on to him through the rest of the Grand Prix, I think I would be very, very happy. Just trying to get the DRS run on George Russell and down in towards this final corner. Well, to the outside we will go there as he wants to just try and defend it a little bit. Wheel to wheel with him, but we will make it through there, and sadly, not quite picking up the DRS though on the exit. As there we go. Piastri and Charles Leclerc way out still in front. Are we going to be able to get ahead of Carlos Sainz though? Maybe back up into the podium in this race? No, we are not. We will come out right behind the MasterCard McLaren. But if we can stick with him, this race might not be over. Well, after 17 laps clean out in front here, Oscar Piastri has now relinquished that lead to Charles Leclerc. Is the Ferrari just a little bit too much to handle for our Australian teammate? Is his first win this season going to have to wait another day? Still want to see the other Cadillac drivers score a win. We want to prove that so that we know we are in the fight for the Constructors' Championship. I think Piastri is going to be better than a lot of teammates we've had, but still no guarantee. You know, he will need to pull his weight against those Ferrari cars over the course of this season, but at the moment, we are staying in the range of Sainz. We're doing a pretty good job, but if I hit a wall, we could get a puncture at any moment. Well, I apologise that this race, especially in the second half, hasn't been the most dramatic. We have just been focusing so much to try and make sure that we keep in the range of Carlos Sainz there. But I think with 1 lap to go, I think Lando Norris has got issues in that Ferrari. He's suddenly dropped about 3 seconds. So whether he's slapped a wall somewhere, whether he's picked up a bit of damage, or maybe it's an engine issue on that Ferrari. Either way, suddenly now, we might be a bit more home and dry in this final lap then. Kimi Antonelli trying to close in, but I think if it finishes like this, I'm pretty certain it'll be Leclerc. Does he move to the top of the championship? I think he does, ahead of Lando Norris here. But for Charles Leclerc, Jeddah has often been a circuit, again, a bit like Baku, where he's able to have the speed over 1 lap, but doesn't often convert it into good race pace. But here today, he was patient early on. He has bided his time, and it looks like he is going to get the fruits of that labour. For Oscar Piastri and for the Cadillac Formula 1 team, it is going to be his first podium of the year as well, which is absolutely fantastic. It's going to be the first time ever my teammate gets a podium inside this series, so I really do hope this year Oscar Piastri is going to be able to try and help us fight in the Constructors. Lando Norris, though, might be about to lose another spot late on in the day to Kimi Antonelli, as could we potentially look to get a run on Carlos Sainz down in towards the final corner? I don't think we will. Looks like Sainz is going to bag a second podium. Look at that tyre wear, though, as Charles Leclerc comes across the line to claim the victory here on the Jeddah Corniche there, rubbing down the wall on the exit of the final corner. 80% wear almost on that right-hand side. We will survive, though.
And that's the end of the...
Charles Leclerc, what a drive, what a victory, he wins!
Well, they were clearly at one with their car today, Crofty, out there. New regulations, of course, for this season, and you can tell that they've done their homework. They've studied, they've put probably a lot of time in the simulator, worked well with their engineer, and, I mean, they were absolute joy to watch out there today. They really were.
There's room for 3 on their podium, but only ever 1 right at the top. Let the celebrations begin. And who gets to take the top step of the podium? Yes, it is I, Leclerc. Charles Leclerc on top.
Well, there we are then. Charles Leclerc, I think that's got to be the most dominant victory we've seen so far this year. 3.8 seconds clear of Oscar Piastri. Carlos Sainz in third ahead of myself. And Kimi Antonelli did get Lando Norris on that final lap as well. So bitter disappointment for the Ferrari driver. Gasly just ahead of Franco Colapinto. Jack Crawford gets good points for Haas. And Gabriel Bortoleto every single race so far. Admittedly, that's only 3, but in all of them, he's been able to clutch up and get inside that top 10. Ollie Behrman in 11th, just ahead of Stroll. Nicolas Solov will be disappointed once again. Qualifies inside the top 10, but didn't have the race pace. But it was just Nico Hülkenberg that failed to see the checkered flag. What does that do to our World Championship? Well, it means now Leclerc at the top of the table, 7 points clear of Lando Norris. We are 13 off the top of the title. As you can see, Oscar Piastri there, 18 back. So, had Oscar held on, he would have 47 points and Leclerc would have 51. That would mean all 4 of us are covered by just 6 points. But ifs and buts and coconuts. It is going to be Leclerc leading the table for now. Carlos Sainz there, a second podium for him. Means he is still in P5 ahead of those 2 Mercedes. Kimi Antonelli, good points for him ahead of now Yuki Tsunoda. Esteban Ocon, Colapinto, Pepe Marti, Bortoleto and Crawford all on the scoreboard there. Constructors-wise, Ferrari now 24 clear once again at Cadillac after we reined in that points margin last weekend. Ferrari have done a very good job here. McLaren and Mercedes tied on 38 for P3. Red Bull ahead of Red Bull ahead of Williams even, Aston Martin and Haas. And it's just Alpine, VCarb and Kick Sauber that are yet to score a point. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for I believe, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix.